Honestly, I have no clue. I'm pretty excited to read it. I'm sure it just says something about, being grateful, struggles that you've been through to get to this point, and then just to say, look back from a year, and just, see the improvement you've made.
How does it feel just now versus a year ago being here?
It's definitely different, like last year at this time, I was still fighting for a job. I was still competing with Jeff. Had a lot of belief in myself. Not a lot of people had a lot of belief in me leading up to this point. So it was definitely a different outlook. I came out here last night and did my stretching routine like I did last year. And it was just a cool memory, to get back to your roots and, just kind of look out here. This reminds me a lot of back home where I'm from. So just to, get back in that mindset and understand, the work that you put in and then to get to this point, pretty cool.
What is your relationship been like with Jeff, and how has that kind of grown with his decision to come back and run it back with you?
That's my guy. I mean, you talk about a guy that shows up to the facility every single day, puts on a smile, does his best for the team. It's a hard position for him, really talented player, and not being the starter every single game. But, I look up to him in a lot of ways, just in terms of that. He's great with everybody around him. He's grown as a player and an individual. Got to hear him speak at a campfire last night, and just the things that he's been through and his thought process on life and football. It's pretty cool for me to look up to that.
Sam, you touched on this being kind of feelings of home. I guess how nice it is to just be out in nature. I know you're an introspective person, just kind of taking that time to reflect and evaluate.
Yeah, just being out here, like I said last night, looking under the stars. Not much light pollution, trees. It was a full moon, or close to last night, so it was a vibe. I just sat out here and really enjoyed it.
For the guys that have been here now multiple times, how do you feel like you can build that connection with those guys?
Yeah, it's different than last year. We were cool coming at this point last year, but we didn't really start getting tight until we started winning games last year. And so this year, we're really tight, and that can be helpful and hurtful in some ways. It can be helpful because, we have camaraderie and stuff like that, but, now do guys feel too comfortable with each other to not push each other, not push each other's buttons and things like that. So we got to kind of find that, and, we've done a really good job in practicing pretty hard, so just continue to harp on that.
How do you think the first practice went up here?
It was good. Definitely some things I want back. I slipped a couple times. Want those plays back. I'm going to get that under control. But overall, I was pretty proud of the effort. Come back tomorrow and build on that.
Sam, you talk about the camaraderie with the returners. Are there any new guys who this is their first time at Camp Team that you've kind of felt a stronger connection being built with?
No, we've been here for, 16 hours. So it's not like too much of a connection's been built from that. We've already been, building that connection throughout our time back home. So, I don't think anything's going to change in a day. I might answer that question a little differently in the next 4 days.
What's your weight practice, away from the practice field thing you most looking forward to this week?
This week, we had a pretty cool remix of the fight song yesterday. That was cool, but looking forward to the hike. That was fun last year, going to the little water spot and just hanging out with the guys overall.
When you came out here last night, were you by yourself doing your stretch routine?
Yeah, I was just chilling by myself.
On the field?
Yeah.
About how long were you out here just kind of taking
I don't know, like an hour and a half. Yeah.
You gonna make everybody go to the top of the mountain?
Yeah, we did that last year, so we got to repeat it for sure.
Can you give us a sample of the remix?
I'm gonna keep that one to myself.
Coach said you were one of the stars, though.
Yeah, it was my team that we got the victory, so it was good to put on. Everybody got hyped. They were jumping. Dilly said it was his favorite one he's ever seen. So just another core memory with the guys. Phones away, just being out here. Special experience.
You don't want to lose in anything, do you?
No.
Sam, how unique is this from, any football experience you've had, this environment, a football field in the middle of the forest, just being out here?
Yeah, it's cool. We were sitting at the campfire last night, and we're just talking who's done this before at a different program. Coach Arroyo's been to 26, fall camps. Waz, our offensive analyst, has been to I don't know how many, probably 20 or something like that, and they've never done it somewhere else. So it's cool to just be at this situation, at Arizona State with this group of guys, and I just keep talking about how blessed I am, but really I am, and everybody else feels it around them.
Obviously a lot of new receivers in the receiver room. I know we talked about it, but the tight ends, that group is physical and growing. How do you feel you've started to get on the same page with the tight ends?
Yeah, just going throughout summer, spring ball, with them, talking through different things. You know, second year in the system for Harp and Shaman, and then 15 came in, and you know, he's had a really good fall camp. All the guys are elevating, and they're elevating each other. They have a great camaraderie within the group, so that's only going to build.
Guys, good.